Hi everyone, welcome to the fourth video in this series on measurements. In this video we'll be looking at circles and specifically the area of a circle. So here's a circle and I've labeled a very important piece of information R. I need to define what this means. So this is the radius and this is the distance of a straight line from the center to any point on the circle. And I'm going to call this the letter R. Please note, it is not the full distance like this. It is just from the center to a point on the circle. Now, if we know the radius, then we have a formula for the area. So here's the formula. The area is pi r squared. Or you could write pi times r, since r squared is r times r. Okay, you'll often see it written like this. You might choose to write it like this when you type it into your calculator. Now I need to make a few comments about this number pi because I know it's a bit mysterious. If you take a bit more mathematics after school, you'll learn about where this number comes from. But for us, pi is just going to be a number given on our calculator. If you want to know more about the story of pi, feel free to ask me about it in class and I can point you to some good reading and where this formula, area equals pi r squared, where that formula comes from. Because we just want to use it to do calculations, but I'm sure some of you are interested in the story behind this, where it comes from. So if I know that the area of a circle is pi r squared, another question that we can ask is, what is the area if I only take part of the circle? So something like this, where there is some sort of angle, theta, between two lines that are coming out from the center of the circle. So one thing that's worth knowing is if I do a full rotation like this from one point to where I started, that is 360 degrees. Hence, if I've only got theta out of the full 360 degrees for the full circle, then the fraction of the full circle that I've got here is theta divided by 360. And so the area of this shape, which is called a sector, is given by the fraction of the circle. So I've already got the fraction. It is theta over 360. And I also know that the area of a circle is given by pi r squared, or pi times r times r. So I know that too. Hence, I can put these two facts together to get the area of a sector is theta on 360 times pi r squared. Just putting those two facts together. I know the area of a circle, pi r squared, and I know the fraction of the circle that I want, theta on 360. And so the area of the sector is just those two things multiplied together. So you're going to want these two slides in your notes. One slide on the area of the circle, one slide on the area of the sector. And I can summarize that into two formulas. Area of circle is pi r squared. Area of sector is theta on 360 times pi r squared. Let's put these formulas to work in this example. So in the first example, I have given you the radius, the distance from the middle of the circle to a point on the circle. So the radius is 10. Now I can use the formula area equals pi times r squared. And I'm just going to write pi times 10 squared. So this is pi times r squared. Pi r squared and pi times r squared are the same thing, because if I write two letters next to each other, that means multiplication is happening. Okay? So at this point, my answer involves pi, and I have asked for rounding to one decimal place. So for something involving a calculator, I basically have to use a calculator. Sorry, for anything involving a circle, I have to use a calculator unless I leave my answer in terms of pi. So here's my calculator. You might have a scientific calculator. To get pi, just type in pi. And I want to multiply it by 10 squared. So this is 100 pi. And if I press Control Enter, I'll get a decimal answer, and you'll see I get 314.159. And if I round this to one decimal place, I get 314.2, because the number is closer to 314.2 than it is to 314.1. Or the next digit after the first decimal place is 5 or larger, which means I round up. Now remember, we need to write a unit. So in this case, the unit that I was given was in meters, so my area is also going to be in meters as well. Okay, second example. Here, we do not have the radius. We have what's called the diameter, which is double the radius. To get the radius from the diameter, I need to divide it by 2. So 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. I can leave off the units for now. So r equals 6. I'll change this to this so it's easy to read. And now that I've got the radius, I'm in a position where I can now calculate pi r squared. So pi times 6 squared in this case. So pi times 6 squared. And this time I get 113.097. The second digit after the decimal point is larger than 5, so I'm going to round up to 113.1. And my unit is meters squared, because I was given meters in the question. Alright, last example. Here we are told that the radius is 5 meters and the angle, theta, is 95 degrees. And now I can use this formula for the area of a sector. it is going to be 95 divided by 360 times pi times 5 squared. All I've done is I've substituted the values for theta and r that I was given in the question. Now we need to go to the calculator. So it's 95 divided by 360 times pi times 5 squared. And if I do this calculation, I get 20.726, and that rounds to 20.7 square meters, because the second digit after the decimal point is smaller than 5. Circles require a bit more work, and generally you need a calculator if you want an answer involving decimals. That's all for area of two-dimensional shapes. In the next video, we will introduce the concept of volume, and we'll start to look at shapes, or I should say solids, in 3 dimensions. See you then.